This might be, I don't know, this might be my hottest take of the entire list. What's going on, guys? It's Atomic Bob back here today with another video, and today we'll be doing something pretty cool. I'm going to be ranking all the MCU Marvel movies in release order, starting with Iron Man 1 and ending with Deadpool and Wolverine. I have seen each and every one of these movies. I didn't want to include the Disney Plus shows just because there was a couple that I haven't seen, but without further ado, let's just get right into it. Starting off, we have the first Iron Man 1 that came out in, I believe, 2008, when I was 4 years old. Iron Man 1, I feel like it goes without question. For me, it's between S or A tier. I think I'm going to put it in S just because it was, great story. Robert Downey Jr., like, comeback story of the century. It started everything. Like, we wouldn't have the rest of these movies. In fact, we probably wouldn't have many superhero movies if it was not for this movie. And then we got this pathetic piece of shit. All right, well, this is going to go down in S tier. This is just going to go down here. I don't think I need to explain myself why it's going to go down there. I just didn't like it. It's confusing, especially with the recasting afterwards of Edward Norton to Mark Ruffalo. It just confused me so much, and just the story bland, villain bland, everything. Iron Man 2. I think this one gets more hate than I feel like it deserves. I didn't hate it that much. I'm going to go like B tier with it. Yeah, I like B tier. B tier is pretty good for that one. And Thor. I love Thor as a superhero, but I did not like many. I only liked like one of his movies, and you guys probably know which one that is. So for Thor, it's C tier. Yeah, it's not the worst one. There's definitely worse ones. Captain America, the First Avenger. I love the Captain America franchise is one of my favorite like trilogy of movies. And I like this one. It's not as much as the others, but I think it's going to go right here in front of Iron Man 2, which it's going to scale left to right, by the way. So the left is the best and the right is the worst of that tier. Avengers. I mean, S tier, right? It's got to go S. Like, where else would this go other than the top two? So I think it's got to go right here, and it's exactly where it belongs for obvious reasons. There's a lot of movies we got to get through here, so I won't go too much in depth for a lot of these. I don't want this to be like a 40-minute long video explaining all the plot points. Most of you have probably seen these, which sorry if I do spoil anything for any of you that haven't seen these movies, but I feel like these have been out long enough now that you probably should have seen most of them. And if you haven't seen them yet, then you probably aren't missing much. Iron Man 3, probably I think my least favorite of the Iron Man trilogy. It's going to go right here, top of C tier, I think. I found this one to probably be the worst villain of the entire like Iron Man trilogy. It reminded me a lot of Syndrome from The Incredibles, just shittier, because Syndrome's amazing, and it's just a shittier version of that. Moving on, we have Captain America, the Winter Soldier. This one, I think we have our first S+, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the first like few Marvel movies I actually saw when I was a kid, right? Oh my God, I was immediately hooked in. This Captain America, the Winter Soldier, fantastic portrayal of Captain America, fantastic plot, fantastic villain. I love it. The whole like Hydra has been hiding out for decades. It's fantastic. Guardians of the Galaxy. So now we've come to my favorite Marvel trilogy in all, not even just MCU, all of Marvel. And Guardians of the Galaxy 1 goes straight to the top of S tier. I remember when this movie first came out, everyone was like, Marvel, what are you guys doing? And it ended up being one of the best Marvel movies, period. So Guardians of the Galaxy, casting, fantastic. Soundtrack, fantastic. Nothing more to say about it. Avengers Age of Ultron. Definitely the worst of the Avengers, but it's still good. I still liked it. I just kind of wish they did, like, it's going to go A tier for me. Borderline top of B, but I think we're going to go A. I just kind of wish they did more with Ultron. Like, for an Age of Ultron, that lasted, what? A week? So it wasn't really an Age of Ultron, more like a fortnight of Ultron. Ant-Man. Once again, another movie I didn't think I was going to like, but I really liked it. It's going to go bottom of A tier. I think it's probably the best of the Ant-Man trilogy, but I mean, that's not really saying much. I still think it's a good movie nonetheless. Oh, okay. Deadpool. So this is my second favorite trilogy, and Deadpool 1 is probably one of my favorite movies, period, of all time. So let's go right to S+. I mean, big part of it is Ryan Reynolds. I mean, like, I don't think anybody else can ever play Deadpool the way that Ryan Reynolds can. Like, he does fantastic with it. I love all the creative freedom he had across these movies, and it definitely shows when it comes to the script, the story plot, some of the jokes. He definitely had a lot of input, and that was a really good call by Marvel. Captain America Civil War. This right here, controversial take, this was the first Marvel movie that I ever saw, because I grew up in like household, like when the first Avengers came out in 2012, I was like 8. I asked my mom if I could watch it. She said no. And then finally when this came out, she's like, fine, yes, you can watch a Marvel movie. And I loved it. I think I picked a great one to start. Is it better It's going S plus 1000%. It's a fantastic plot, fantastic characters. Does it go in front of the Winter Soldier? No, it goes right there. It's so close though. Like you can make an argument for either one of these. Doctor Strange. I mean, I've only seen it like a few times and I did like it. It's just not as much as everybody else. Like for me, it's going to go top of B, like in front of Captain America. It's kind of like a mid-tier Marvel movie, in my opinion. I would not be shocked if some people have it like up here though. And I also wouldn't be shocked if some people have it down here. It's either you really like it or you really don't like it. I'm kind of in the middle. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Not as good as the first Guardians, but it's definitely still really good. Like I'm gonna put it A tier. There's a lot of people who think like the movie's like down here, and that's just disrespectful. I've seen some people say they don't like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 at all, and I still have no idea to this day. So it's gonna go right there, top of A tier. Loved it more than the Avengers Age of Ultron, but not as much as Iron Man. Spider-Man Homecoming. Once again, this is like I think the first Marvel movie I saw in theaters. Captain America Civil War, Captain America Civil War I watched at home, but this was the first Marvel movie I went and saw in theaters, and I really did like it. I'll let you know, I'm debating between top of A and bottom of S. And you know what? I love this whole era. It's going to go bottom of S tier. I think Tom Holland does a great job at doing a good portrayal of both Spider-Man and Peter Parker. He does the best of both worlds. Like, here's how I view it. Tobey Maguire is best Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield, best Spider-Man. Tom Holland, best of both worlds. That's kind of how I view it. And that's why Tom Holland takes the cake as my favorite Spider-Man, because he's good at everything. Thor Ragnarok. The one Thor movie I will happily sit down and watch. It's going up here. It's just, I think, yeah, it's going right there. This movie, I like kind of the direction they started going with Thor, but then they ended up just taking it too far later on down the road. Like there's little bits of comedy in here, but the comedy works. And just once again, hella fantastic villain. Just the way the movie ended within leading into Infinity War. Perfect Thor movie. Perfect movie for him. Black Panther. Another really good one. Obviously, the late great Chadwick Boseman. He did it. There's no one else that could have played Black Panther around this time. I know they're looking to recast him right now, and I'm not sure who could do it. He was absolutely perfect in this role, and I loved exploring Wakanda. Wakanda is such an awesome place in the Marvel universe, and I'm really, really glad we got a full movie about it. And so I think it's gonna go right here to the top of A tier. It's not quite at S tier for me. And I just look at this. I love this era of Marvel. Like they're all kind of from the same era, just like. The outliers are like Avengers and Iron Man. Do I even really need to explain this one? Top of S plus. I mean, the build up to this movie, I still remember, I think it was like 6 a.m. the day the trailer came out. I woke up, got a text from one of my buddies saying, hey, go look at Marvel's YouTube. And the trailer for Infinity War was there. When I tell you, as soon as pre-orders for those tickets went up, I was like, just spamming the refresh button like 5 minutes beforehand because I almost didn't get a ticket. They almost sold out within seconds. The viewing experience for this movie too. I remember walking out of there with the theater with my friends and everyone around me. We were all just like, I don't think I even said a word the whole car ride home. This was an amazing viewing experience. Fantastic villain. Thanos is incredible. I love they were able to cram all these superheroes into one movie and actually make it work. Shout out to the Russo brothers. So yeah, top of S plus. No really need to go any further. Deadpool 2. Did not like it as much as the original Deadpool, but I do think it goes right there, right behind Black Panther, but right in front of Guardians. Deadpool 2 is still really funny. It's Ryan Reynolds, the X-Force hilarious. You got like Terry Crews, Brad Pitt. It's still really good. I can't say any bad things about it. Ant-Man and the Wasp. I really didn't like this. I used to like it, and then as I've watched it, the less it's grown on me. I'm gonna go like right in front of Iron Man 2, like right here, right in the middle of B tier. I think that's a good spot for it. It's just there was something special about the first Ant-Man that they couldn't really replicate with the second one. I'm just gonna put it middle of B. Don't really think too much into it. Captain Marvel. Okay, D tier. We all know why. Moving on. Avengers Endgame goes right next to its older brother in S plus. Same with this, the viewing experience I had in the end, final battle, my theater was jumping up, screaming. One of the best viewing experiences I've ever had. This movie's got a special place in my heart. I watched it 3 times in theaters. So Spider-Man Far From Home, the second in the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy. And a lot of people really didn't like this one. I didn't hate it. Like, I think it's going to go bottom of A tier. It's going to go like right here. There's a lot, like it's not that bad. I liked Mysterio as a villain. There's just some things I wish they could have done better, but thankfully they improved it in a later movie. Black Widow. It's going to go to the bottom of D tier. I really just didn't care for it. I watched it in theaters one time, then I watched it when it came out on Disney Plus, and I really didn't care for it. I mean, it's because the release of it just didn't make any sense. Like, by this point in the MCU, she had already died. So coming out with a movie for her just did not make any sense. If they would have released this around the time of like Civil War, like alongside like the Spider-Man, Black Panther, those kind of movies, I think it would have done better because it would have showed what she was doing, not after she was dead. Shang-Chi. I haven't watched this in a long time. Honestly, it's going to go right here behind Black Panther. I keep forgetting it's there. I keep forgetting Shang-Chi is there because Marvel just hasn't done anything with them since this movie came out, which pisses me off. He's a fantastic character. That was a great movie. One of the, probably one of the better movies of Phase 4. And so it's going to go right to the top of A tier. The Eternals. Should have been a Disney Plus show. We really didn't get much time to explore these characters. And I mean, it's no shock that Eternals 2 was canceled. They kind of just threw us like 10 characters once, like, here you go. And then just a dead celestial was sitting in the middle of the ocean and is not even being recognized till Captain America Brave New World, which comes out in February. Spider-Man No Way Home. It's going like right here. Yeah, it's going right there. The build up to this movie, like, I still had no idea. They did a good job making us believe that Toby and Andrew weren't going to be in the movie with how much Andrew Garfield was dodging the questions in interviews. I still remember watching those interviews. Dude, he did a great job dodging those questions. But once again, at a theater, jumping up and screaming as soon as those portals opened and the Spider-Man walked out. Phenomenal viewing experience. And yeah, I wish I could see that movie again. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I'm going to put it... I mean, it was good. I mean, I feel like for it's going to go like right in front of the original for me. But I feel like for it to be called Multiverse of Madness, we only really saw like 3 universes. We had 2-second glimpses in other ones. So I wasn't really a Multiverse of Madness. And there were only like a few cameos that people actually cared about. There weren't that many that were like, oh my God. Thor Love and Thunder. A pretty big miss for me. It's going to go top of C tier. They made Thor too funny. For how big of a character Gore the God Butcher is in the comics, I feel like we should have gotten more of him. Like, that was the movie's biggest flop. They had Christian Bale playing Gore the God Butcher, and they didn't do much with him. They made Thor too funny. For Jane dying of cancer, this movie would have done so much better if it was like darker and grittier, which it was not. It was a comedy film. It did not need to be. Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I've only really seen it once. I mean, put it like top of B tier. It's just, to me, it kind of just felt weird going on Wakanda and like T'Challa not being there, which obviously, you know, rest in peace Chadwick. But just for me, wasn't really it without T'Challa. So Namor was cool, and I'm glad to see Shuri took on the mantle. But Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Once again, another movie. I liked it when it first came out, but the more I watched it, the less it's growing on me. So it's going to go like top of C tier. It's going to go like right here. There's a lot of things that could have gone wrong, and that did go wrong. But this is my main problem with it. This was the movie that was supposed to introduce Kang as like the next big bad of the MCU. And you chose fucking Ant-Man. You chose Ant-Man. I get it, his thing with the quantum realm, but how did a bunch of fucking ants beat Kang? That doesn't make any sense to me. This would have made way more sense in a Spider-Man movie, a Thor movie, who else? A Guardians potentially, even like a whole Guardians movie based around Kang. That would have made more sense. This did not. So for that reason, it's going to go right there in C tier, and we're going to move on. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This might be, I don't know, this might be my hottest take of the entire list. It might not be, I don't know. But I firmly believe that Guardians 3 is the best of the Guardians movies, and it's going to go right here, right behind Spider-Man No Way Home. The stakes in this movie felt so much higher than they did for the other Guardians movies. Like, you know, spoiler, Rocket's life on the line. They had to go from place to place. Well, meeting up with Gamora again. The soundtrack incredible. Humor was great. Everyone's splitting up at the end, but then teasing that Star-Lord's going to come back. And I also firmly believe Rocket and Groot are both going to end up coming back as well. Sets up a lot of stuff for the future, and I'm very, very excited to see what they do with Star-Lord in the future. And this movie was just fantastic. So it's going right there in S+, right next to Spider-Man No Way Home and Civil War. The Marvels. Don't think I really need to explain myself. I watched it one time. It didn't interest me. I mean, I wasn't, part of this was like, for instance, these movies down here, I also just wasn't excited for them. I went into these movies knowing I probably wasn't going to like them. And I was right. But I didn't. I did not like them whatsoever. None of those characters interest me. It was cool to see Nick Fury, but that's about it. So it's going to go middle of D tier. All right, last one. Deadpool and Wolverine, the savior of the MCU. It's going like right here. I know some people are like, oh, they're glazing the movie really wasn't that good. The plot had some problems. I will give you that. But the banter between Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, and Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool is some of the best humor I think I've ever seen in a movie. You could definitely tell that this was just two best friends wanting to make a movie together, and they said, screw it. Because that's what it felt like. So many great cameos, and I love that they found a way to introduce characters from like the X-Men and the Fantastic Four into the MCU through the void and have it make sense. That's something I really appreciated from them. So yeah, that movie's gonna go top of S tier, and I don't really say anything more about it. That's my list, everyone. If you have anything you think I should change, you let me know down in the comments below. And if you disagree on anything, that's okay. This is my list. You're allowed to have your own. I can't legally stop you. If you like this video and want to see more like this, click the subscribe button down below and ring the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload next.